Hello, everyone. Um, my name is Rainesh Kalyan, and today I'm bringing to you a very interesting series of talks. This is actually my first one that I'm doing. It's on building the foundations for success. So, before I start, I just want to give a brief introduction about myself. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Rainesh Kalyan. I live in Brisbane, Australia. I've been here. We been in Brisbane. We moved here in 1992. So I've been here for the last 25 years. By profession, I work in a company called CIMIC. It is a construction mining company, and I work in the finance department, and I look after business intelligence applications. So what does that mean for those that aren't in the IT or that kind of things? BI, business intelligence, is basically mm, fancy reporting, understanding your business data better so that you can make better decisions. So that's what I do by profession. I've pretty much done all my studies and everything here. I've been doing this work for the last approximately how many years now? Mm, I've been in this industry for about 10, 11 years. About 11 years. I graduated, I studied at QUT, graduating there. When did I graduate? In 2008. That's when I graduated. I did a bachelor's of IT and a bachelor of business. And then, yeah, been involved in various things in my life, work-wise and different challenges. At one point in time, I moved to Melbourne to pursue consulting opportunities, and that all contributed to my own individual growth. But where I am right now is, I work in this company called CIMIC. You know, I am, outside of work. There's a lot of things. My father has a family business, so I help him out with that. And then I also, have a very loving family. I have a 2-year-old son. I also have another child on the way, so things are very interesting, getting better. So, and besides that, despite all of this, the one thing which I love doing is, I love volunteering and helping others. You know, because simply for the fact that, I've done certain things along my life which have given a very positive impact. And so naturally, then you want to share. So likewise, if I've done something that's good, that's helped me a lot, so I also want others to also feel that way. That's why I'm having these. That's why I'm thought, okay, let me try doing some of these interactive sessions. Well, it's not really interactive considering, and lately figure this out is that with Google on AI, it's pretty much like a live show. So next ones we'll try and see how we can make it a bit more interactive. You can ask questions. You can still do so. There is a mechanism for you to, type a question in, and throughout the talk, if you want to ask me something, feel free to send a message, and we'll address it at the end of the talk. So yeah, that's pretty much a bit of brief and history around me as an individual, and the reason why I'm here to talk to you about what is it required on building the foundations for success. So I've got a short um, PowerPoint to show. Not too much, it's mainly factual information. So I'll share my screen just now. Okay. So building the foundations of success. Now, if we look at some of research. There was some research conducted by the Harvard University and the Carnegie Foundation and Stanford Research Center, looking at what are the attributes, what are the factors that attribute to success. They took two things in as part of the research. They took two things. One was on the left hand side here is what we called soft skills, or what are the interpersonal skills, you know and on the right hand side, so the darker colored box, is we have hard skills or technical skills or domain expertise. So what is it that you need for to be able to do your job? For example, if you're a doctor, you need to understand medicine, if medicine and bones and all that stuff. If you're in IT, you need to understand the technology and other things. If you're an accountant, you need to know your debits and credits inside out. So they did this research, and any guesses what was the percentage ratio, between what contributes to success? So I've got a couple of options here. Now it's one of these. Um, so do you think it's 50-50 or 90, 10 and 90? So 10% soft skills and 90% domain expertise, 67%, 33%, or 85 and 15? Have a think about the answer. I'll give you a couple of seconds. You can obviously you can't respond back to me, so have a think between yourself. Out of all these options, what do you think it was? Well, you'll be surprised to know that 85% of job success comes from having well developed soft and people skills. That's 85%. And 15% comes from technical skills, knowledge, or domain expertise. Now, isn't this a very interesting fact? You know, throughout throughout all your years, what have you been doing? If what you really need to be successful in, if the factors that contribute to your success, 85% of them are soft skills. Let's have a look at what what we have been doing with our resources. So let's go back to my screen sharing. Oops. So for those of you that were lucky enough to go to a private school, or should I say unlucky, because you were either with an all boys school or all girls school. So this is having a look at some of the stats in Brisbane, and this is about the yearly cost. If you went to the most top high school, you're 25 grand a year. If you're in high school from years years 8 to 12, that's 19, 11, 12, 6 years. 6 years. And the average, can come as low as down to, it's a lot of money you've been spending on high school. Then this, I was just doing some Googling around and I found, what are the indicative costs for, studying at uni. So if I take a 3 years bachelor's degree, anywhere between, 32,000 and 40,000. Now this I didn't, and then after that, we've been, doing professional accreditations, certifications, and whatnot. We've been spending all this time, just focusing on developing our technical skills. When it only, based on this research, and you probably might have experienced this, but seen in your workforce, is these technical skills they only attribute to 15% of success in in career. Isn't this quite interesting? So if we look at, no, if 85% of what we need, what attributes to success is these soft skills, then have we ever thought about spending as much time, or in fact even 1 or even 5% of that time, money, effort, and other resources on developing these other core set of skills? Have you ever thought about that? So if we look at what are these soft skills that we talk about, so I've just listed some here. you know so the first one that comes to my mind is clarity of thought or clarity of mind. Quite often does it not happen that sometimes certain situations come up, or certain things you asked a question, you know you might have the best ideas, but if you're not able to think those ideas through clearly or articulate them, then what is the purpose? Hmm? you know we talk about uh, extending on that time management and decision making. So if I take an example of decision making, you know if mm, let's say if I take a bit of an extreme example here, let's say if someone brought a pizza. On one side there's a pizza, and the other side there's dog food. Now, on one round, both of those are food, but you know clearly that it's what you should be eating is the pizza. So there's no decision. So you think, oh, there's no decision to make. So that's a very simple and obvious example, right? But likewise, just look at your own life. How many times have you come across situations, or certain circumstances have come up where you've had to make decisions, and when that clarity is not there, then what happens? Is it not? It's always, it's a bit quite difficult. So then you have to go through this process of, okay, whether you do process of elimination, and then you make, okay, based on, you spend all this time trying to accumulate facts as to why a certain decision is right or wrong. But if you could do things where in your own mind you could have more clarity, where you knew your stuff, or you could move through things, then you'd be able to make better decisions. You'd be able to make decisions faster. you know that's why sometimes we go to experts on these things, because they know the subject matter, and for them the decision making process is very quickly, because they know the stuff. Likewise, in your case, you've been accumulating all, like we've been accumulating all this technical knowledge, but if we're not able to apply the knowledge that we've got at the right place, at the right time, and come up with the right solution, what use is it? If we're not able to work effectively in teams, once again, what use is it? So are you not seeing that all these things are there? That's why all these soft skills are so important. you know if we look at negotiation skills, some of the things, for example, at my work, where I am in my role, we have to deal with senior management and with problems and all that. There's different ways we need to go down. So how can you articulate very clearly that this is the problem, that these are the problems that we have, and we need to be able to go that, if you have a certain viewpoint on how things should be, to be able to get that across to the other person, to negotiate, no, this is why it has to be like this. you know all these are very key and important things. One thing which I have learned as part of my individual career, and a lot of this has come back down to you know my personal journey. So I'll probably jump, rather than going too much on these examples. I'll probably jump into my own personal story now. So where my life sort of you know um, like I graduated in 2008 from QUT. Then I was working in a company called TEAS, doing I started as a business analyst and then moved into the BI space, doing more technical. All the things I learned myself, on how to do these system things and all that. But I always wanted to deliver, drive change back throughout the organization. Do something good. You know, there's so much information out there. There's so much data out there, but how can we analyze that to make better decisions? How we can make more money. If we understand, how markets work, if we have a better understanding of how people think, then we can use that information to maximize our returns. So that was always my interest in things. And then, what was it going? So yeah, and then when I was at work, all the things I wanted to do when I wasn't getting that, I used to work very hard, long hours, do this, and never used to grow. You know, I'll always, talk to my managers, oh, we should do this, but decision makers, oh, sorry, can't do this now, I have to do this later. So it was like, no, I want to do something different, and that's when I said, look, you know, I don't need this. I'm, and I started looking in the job market. We went on holiday to clear my mind. And when I came back, I got approached by a couple of people on LinkedIn, and then got the job. I ended up moving to Melbourne, where I developed as a consult. From a professional point of view, I went into consulting, and in that consulting space, I learned a lot of things. But the most important thing, which helped me at that time, when I was in Melbourne, was the fact that living in the most livable city in the world, the coolest place, bars, restaurants, friends, everything. I actually ended up getting more involved with the Art of Living Foundation. And that's to some extent, like I had done the happiness program, or the part one course as it was called back then, in 2009, so a year after I had graduated. And then things were okay. And then it's only when I moved to Melbourne, and then I did other programs. So I did the Art of Silence program, and then there's lots of different programs that the Art of Living teaches. So in that, what I was able to do was you know get a better understanding of myself, because when I could understand myself better, I could understand my thoughts better, then I was able to, with that clarity, with that, ability to make decisions, you know, able to communicate effectively, you know, to go through and say, look, this is in these problems, this is how we should be doing things, these things. And then, if your nature itself becomes very pleasant, if you're very approachable, very warm, people automatically want to come to you. They want to know what your opinion is on a certain matter, on a certain subject matter. Because, especially in my area where we're doing consulting or technical work, it's very specific to that. So in that regards, I was quite, So coming back to understanding myself better, when I could understand myself better and when I was at peace, then I was more able to progress on career on my career path. You know, then in this role, becoming a manager and other things. So that's in terms of my own personal journey, and that's why coming back to what I said at the start, that's why I'm doing these sessions. So I can share my experience with you. So I can like I have been successful because once I understood that these soft skills and all that are very important, and how I ended up going and developing them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So coming back down to you know, if you found these things interesting, if you're looking at all the different pillars of what attributes to success, knowing the fact that it's all these personal skills. A good manager, a good leader is one that can communicate well, you know, who has a vision going forward and is able to work with people who know better about things. To be able to say, no, this is how I want it, but to be able to bring out the best in them. But this only comes when you yourself are at peace with yourself. Can you imagine trying to, solve problems in an organization when your life is a total mess? How many times, this situation may have come up in your own life? You know, you're in meetings, people are asking you for answers, and your mind is somewhere else. We have this constant problem where we're being asked something and like, huh? Sorry, I didn't quite understand. Or you've got so much work to do, but only so much time. So what is the solution here? Can we have a supply and demand curve. We have this much to do, but only this much time. Can we increase the amount of time that we have? Can we reduce the amount of work that we have? So what to do? If you can't if you can't increase the amount of time, then you have to find ways on how you can be more efficient. And how do you become more efficient? Let's look at all the things that you do to, supposedly, if you have an hour at work. Now, in that 1 hour of work that you're doing, how much time do you actually spend doing that work? Maybe it's a very good day and you're very focused and you might actually spend, a good 45 minutes. Or, sometimes even at work, quite often it happens that I end up talking, thinking about, oh, shit, I could have done this better, or last week we did this and this and this, or we could have done, or I wish we had done this and all that. Or we have this production release coming up, and what if this happens and what if that happens? So all this planning and all that is important, but does it not take you away from the present? Life is happening right now. So if you can find ways on being more focused as to what is happening right now, then you can move forward through life. You can, how should I say, you'll end up having more time. So, and in that regards, when you become more efficient by doing these, by working on these skills, then you become, more proficient and a better individual, who's able to articulate things and get things done. So, where to from here? So, what did I do with my computer? 1 second. So, work on developing these soft skills. Now, how? So, like I was saying earlier, you know, in the Art of Living Foundation, there's these various programs that we conduct, that the organization conducts. So one is the happiness program, and something, which I'm very happy to say that I've recently become a facilitator on. So in the happiness program, what happens is you actually get a better understanding of your own mind. We often try and say, oh, people should not think like this, or they should do this. But they don't have, you don't have control over your own mind, yet you want to influence how others' minds work. So better than thinking what he or she is doing or why he or she is not doing, understand your mind first. you know so in the happiness program, which goes for 3 days, 3 half days, you'll get an intellectual understanding of how the mind works. And once you have a better understanding of how the mind works, then you can use it to your advantage. Okay. And then, there's this very special technique that is taught in the happiness program, which is called the Sudarshan Kriya. So Su meaning proper, Darshan meaning vision. Kriya is the purifying act. So Sudarshan Kriya is the act which helps you to get proper vision. So this is the clarity I was talking about before. You know, that initial example which I gave between pizza and dog food, you don't need clarity. That's just well, hopefully you don't need clarity to decide between those two. But for other things in life, you know, that clarity is utmost important. You know, so and based on that, when you start doing these techniques, which is using breathing techniques and yoga and meditation and all that, we think, oh, this is not for me, this is all old school stuff. But it's actually very relevant. For me, I can say 110% where I am in my career today is because of how I have learned over the years to be able to handle my mind better. When I'm able to handle myself better, then I can handle people, situations, and things around me better. And with that, you build up that respect in a work environment. You know, you build up that respect in a volunteer environment. In a family environment. For those that know me personally quite well, you'll know what I'm talking about. So it's through these breathing techniques. You know, I've been posting on my Facebook wall about what Sudarshan Kriya is, how. So I'm not going to explain to you in detail on how it works and all that stuff. And once again, all these things you can read as much as you want, but until you experience it, you won't. You know, it's all theoretical. You know, likewise, going to university and studying, it's all theory, but it's only when you get into the workforce then you get the practical. So reading about this, about Sudarshan Kriya, about yoga and all these are great, but you have to go and practice it. And so what's the next point of contact? So if you're interested in joining the happiness program, there's one coming up from Friday the 6th to Sunday the 7th, Sunday the 8th of October, at Norman Park. The link is there, or you can just Google the Art of Living Happiness program, or just check on my Facebook page wall, and you'll find the links there. You've got my email address, and yeah, like I said, you can contact me on Facebook also. But one thing just to recap from today, the most important aspect, as you saw from the research and all, is about the attributes that make a successful person. It's about you as an individual. If you can be, if you are the most nicest, most friendliest person in the work environment, if you can understand people better, if people can come and relate to you, if they can come and talk to you about things professionally, about things personal, about personally, if you have that intuitive capability, you know, if you know, so for example, if you're facing a problem and you have a gut feeling that this might be it, you'll end up, making decisions much faster. You'll end up, resolving problems much quicker. And there is no second thoughts. There's no better um, feeling. There's no better than, having, I can't think of the right word. But to be able to go in a work environment or family environment and just being natural, being naturally happy doing things. This is what. So that is 8:30. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email or send me a Facebook message. And yeah, catch you around. See ya.